Welcome back, man. It's the Hardwood Report here once again, man. Fresh off the guest feature, man. If you guys didn't listen to that pod, go and listen to the Brainstorming Basketball podcast. We were just on there, had some hot takes, but back to the original scheduled program. We're here to talk some basketball. A lot of things happened this week. So before we dive into all that, let's talk to the boys, see what you guys been up to, bro. Kev, how you been? Long time. Well, not long time because we
Don't play
chatted for
with that
days.
boy. He is not one of them. Shout out 2 Chainz. Still, that nigga's back is broken, bro. They Lil Baby's PR team should get fired as of today because they had no business putting him on that bullshit. I ain't never seen a man look that sorry in my life.
I'm a rapper, not a baller. Simple. Chris, what are you saying?
Yeah, yo. The conspiracy theories about him and Quavo being having beef, it's alive and well because that nigga was not letting up. Pressure all game, fam. Like it's crazy. But I'm here, yo. All Star Weekend is upon us. The first half is over. Honestly, looking back, it didn't really go that bad. You know what I'm saying? We had a little bit of hiccups and all of that stuff. But like before the year, we thought that this shit might have been shut down, type of thing. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? So I'm glad that the second half is about to approach and about to happen.
I hear that. So let's stick on the topic since we're talking about the All Star game being in Atlanta. So for those of you that don't know, Lloyd Pierce has recently been let go of his duties. Atlanta, for the most part, in most people's opinion, has been a disappointment this year. Just given the fact that they added a lot of key pieces and it didn't really turn into anything. Everybody would pretty much say that they consider themselves to be a playoff team, or at least be in the runnings, which they technically say are still are, given the fact of how bad the Eastern Conference has been this year. But I guess it hasn't met expectations. So I'll shoot it to you, Chris, first. What do you think about the Lloyd Pierce firing, just generally off the top? But before you do that, let me just say that they are currently sitting in 11th place, 16-20. Um, Go ahead, though.
It's a shame. It's just a shame. That's all it boils down to for me. We're talking about a guy that he's been in the role about 2+ years now, and this is the first year where we can actually say he came in with any type of pressure or any type of expectation to do any type of winning. In saying that, this year he hasn't had his full team. I don't think his full cast of characters has ever played together on at the same time. Last time John Collins decided that he was going to trick off and go, chase a bag on off the PhDs, and he was gone for an extended period of time. This time, yes, the GM made the choice to sign a man like Danilo Gallinari, who reverted back to his old ways, and now he's not playing basketball no more. Bogdan, who they signed, was supposed to be the pickup. That was supposed to be the pickup that made changes or changed life in Atlanta, and he has been gone. Really hasn't played any meaningful basketball all year long. DeAndre Hunter, he was petitioning to be at least the second best player on that team with the efficiency and holding it down at that wing position. He was gone for an extended period of time and still won't be back until near the end of the month, near the end of March. You know what I'm saying? And then you have only guys like you only have Trey Young and John Collins, and John Collins is chasing the bag, so you don't know what he's really doing out there. He's playing for I, and then you have Trey Young, who is Trey Young. Like, yes, he has his good and he also has his bad. So for me, it's a shame. Like, he didn't actually get a chance to see what he could have done with the cards that they put out on the table for him. And then you're looking at a guy like Trey Young. They're saying that Trey Young and him never really meshed. This is what coaches talk about when they say that the players are getting ahead of themselves. Because you can't be a Trey Young, haven't actually solidified yourself in the NBA yet, but yet you can tell me to fire a next man. It doesn't work like that. First, you handle your business, and then we start looking at who's not handling theirs. You see what I'm saying? There has to be some type of progression here. And Trey Young hasn't hit that yet. He hasn't hit that yet to be dictating whether or not a next man can get a paycheck. And it's just a shame. Honestly, it's a shame.
Go ahead, Kevin. I have a long take, so I'll let you slide
Hmm.
in still.
Nah, Rob's go still. Gotta go, Rob's.
Nah, because the thing about it is that I feel like, again, my opinion may be a little bit biased because I am a fan of Trey Young. But when you say he's not doing his work, what more do you want him to do? Like, he dropped a 30 and 10. He came in, and yeah, he's not doing it super efficiently. But to me, this just reminds me of another Brett Brown situation with Philly, right? They went through the rebuild. Granted, it wasn't as bad as a rebuild that Philly had to go through. But at the same time, if we look at the situation, like, they're still on the upcome. And who is Lloyd Pierce? He's not Pop. You couldn't tell me who Lloyd Pierce was 5 years ago, so his resume doesn't dictate anything. And on top of that, if Trey Young is the only bright spot that's supposed to be there for the foreseeable future, you're going to do whatever you can to keep him happy. And even if it's not in the best interest of the team, it's not like what you have right now is currently working. So you're not really sacrificing anything. So the way I look at it is like, yeah, you could fire Lloyd Pierce.
Well,
Go ahead.
just a rebuttal that just a rebuttal that quickly, right? Because yes, Lloyd Pierce is not Pop, but you didn't give him a
But
chance to see
but
what
what
he
I'm saying
was.
is he didn't get the chance because he wasn't performing. Right? Granted, whatever circumstances you want to,
And why was
I
that,
understand
fam?
that. I understand his team wasn't the greatest. I understand that. We get that. But what I'm saying is this: he, even though he didn't necessarily have the talent, that doesn't mean that that was justification for him saving his job. Right? We understand Atlanta wasn't star-studded for years to come in the past 3 4 seasons. We understand that, but at the same time, he didn't do a great job either. It's not like they were one of those teams that were losing, but yet they had a high defensive rating or something like that. Like they didn't weren't doing anything. So you could blame both parties. You could equally blame Trey Young and you could equally blame Lloyd Pierce. But one man's putting up 30 and 10, and one man's not doing much with the roster. So again, I'm not gonna sit here and tell you that like, oh, Trey Young got him fired, but I understand if the
They're
organization,
both not doing.
Trey Young's doing what he can,
Trey
man.
Young did get
No,
him.
he's
No, Trey
doing
Young got him
okay,
fired,
but he's
fam.
doing what he's
Say,
doing.
fam, Trey Young got him fired. Yo, if Trey Young, like you just said, if Trey Young wanted him there, he would have
No,
been
no, no,
there.
no.
So
You're
Trey Young
mistaking
got
my
him
point. I'm
fired.
not saying that Trey Young didn't get him fired. Don't get me wrong. I'm saying that if Trey Young went to an organization and said this is not the guy, I can understand why the organization said, all right, we're gonna get rid of him because Trey Young is doing his job. Like, what more do you want him to do? If he says it's not
Yo,
working,
all
I
right.
get to let
So,
him go.
I don't agree, but Kev can jump in.
because for me, right, I think Chris, what it sounds like you're saying is that Lloyd Pierce is a good coach, but I don't think you're actually. I don't think you mean that because I know all three of us don't know whether he's a good coach.
No, that's what I'm
No,
saying.
but
I'm saying I don't know what Lloyd Pierce is, and they didn't actually give him a chance
but
to let us see what he is. That's what I'm saying.
this is like part. But how many years are you gonna give a man? Because like man's missed games in the NBA, right? You got to do what you can with what you have, and I think uh well, he's all time a 63 and 120 record. Like even that team last year, if you look back at that team last year with
Come
a
on,
Trey
man.
Young, a John Collins producing, although he missed bare games, like you should not be the second last team in the East. Man. So if I can tell, I can't say he's a good coach, but there is some inclinings that he's not a good one, that he's not a good coach. And combined with that, not losing, yeah, they miss guys. Yeah, Trey Young is fam. Like you can't point to Trey Young and say you're the problem out of all the mans on the roster. He's going out there averaging
I'm not
30 and 10. You
I'm
can't.
not saying that he's a problem. I'm saying that the only real issue I have with Trey Young is that Trey Young is dictating a man's paycheck when I don't believe he is on that level to dictate who is coaching him.
But
That's my
I hear
issue
you,
with
but
Trey
all right,
Young.
but that's the organization's fault. Because if you let the prisoners run the
The
prison,
asylum.
it's only on you. Still, it's just you, fam. Like it's you can't look to Trey Young and say you're wrong for that. If they go to Trey Young and ask for his opinion and he gives it, that's not his problem.
I don't think it was like that, Kev. I think he
No,
gave
no,
his opinion.
I know. But I'm saying, but if there's room for your opinion, that's your fault. Because there's certain people in life that you can't go to and give them your opinion just because you know what it is.
Facts.
But if you're keeping the door open, if you're having an open door policy where Trey Young can come in and tell you how he feels at any given time, that's your problem. That's your fault. And we shouldn't be looking at Trey Young for that, in my opinion. Whether or not it's right that he got fired, I don't know. Like I feel like we've seen mans perform better with way less and get fired. Look to Nate McMillan just recently. I feel like he performed with he over exceeded expectations with a roster that kept changing, man's in and out of the lineup, and somehow he got fired. Now I look to Lord Pierce, and yeah, your team wasn't that great, but I think you should have been better. Your team started off what 6-2 or some shit like that.
Something like that, yeah.
Let's not forget, like at one point I was on the pod asking mans if they're for real, and now you're what 14-20 when he got fired. Like something's going wrong there. Maybe mans don't respect him. I feel like that's a possibility. Obviously, we know Trey Young doesn't respect him, but I don't know. I think we can't just act like he's a good coach because we genuinely don't know that. And
We don't know.
Mans have been better and gotten fired. So.
We definitely don't know. But what I want to know is, all right, now he's gone. Now what happens? Like now, I would like for the pressure to be on Trey. Like whoever they bring in, I'm assuming that that's a better
But
situation
yo,
for you,
but
know?
yo, here's the thing. I think we're directing the energy in the wrong way. Trey is doing what he's doing, and as far as we know,
Is he a star or
that's not the
not?
point. The point is whether or not he's a star is
So
irrelevant.
what is the
The
point?
point is the organization.
So what
The
is the
point is that
point?
the organization respects him as he's a star. Whether or not he's an actual star is irrelevant.
Okay, so then
I
if they
think he's just
respect
saying
you as a
he's a star. I
star,
think you're saying he's a star.
yeah, I'm
He's a
saying no.
very
I'm saying
top.
I thought he's at least. I'm not gonna say he's a superstar, but I'm saying like he is a star in the
Yeah,
NBA.
I
So
get
now
I
we
get the
want.
question you're asking.
You get your guy. The guy who you didn't
Yeah,
want is out. He's gone. So let's
but I
see
think
it.
again, my point was I think we're direct.
You can't have it both
I
ways,
know, but I
fam.
think we're directing the energy in the wrong way. I don't think that again, whether Trey Young voiced his opinion and said I don't want this guy, he's been saying that. This is not the first time we heard that Lloyd Pierce wasn't the guy. Now it just gives him justification for doing whatever they had to do. But what I'm saying is, I think maybe the organization said, you know what, this season is kind of lost. Maybe we need to make a change up before we start committing to some of these guys, right? John Collins is coming up, trade deadline, right? Lloyd Pierce is going on to his third season. There's a lot of working parts here. And I think maybe they decide, okay, let's do a change up here now and see how we finish off before we start making some of these commitments that are on the timeline. Because again, Trae Young has not, this is not the first time we heard Trae Young speak out about his coach. So
He
what's the
never
difference
spoke
between
out.
then and
He
there?
never spoke out though.
Well, okay, there was
But
rumors, right? There was a
yeah,
sentiment in the air that he
yeah,
wasn't in favor of Lloyd
I,
Pierce.
I,
yeah.
okay, but I don't want to hear. All right, so but what are we saying about Trey though?
But
What do we like that you're trying to
I'm
gloss
not
over
glossing
Trey?
over because
What
I'm
are we
saying
saying about Trey in the sense of
what I'm
winning?
saying is
What are we saying? What are the expectations
I
for Trey
understand the
Young?
expectations are for him to win. We understand that, right? And in order for him to be respected as a superstar, at some point we're going to look to him and say, okay, where are the W's? But at the same time, what I'm saying is, in the context of Atlanta, it doesn't matter because when they already look at Trae Young and say, yo, we respect you as a guy, whether you're winning or not, which he hasn't been winning, it doesn't make a difference because they're holding his voice the same. They're valuing his
Okay, so
opinion the same.
I fine, I got that. I got that. Now you tell me in respect to
Mm-hmm.
you and Trey Young, is it not time to win?
No, he's in his third.
Like you got your
He's in his
guy
third
out.
year. I think mans are forgetting the timeline of normal NBA progression. Mans don't get into the third year and just all of a sudden start bringing
Nah,
their teams
but
to top
yo,
four
Chris,
seeds.
I think if you detail your question in terms of winning, because he's in it. I don't care if he's in his third year; he has to be better than he's been. I'm not saying this man needs to be a top seed in the East, but you got to be a playoff team. You can't continue to have a ridiculously
Can
losing
you be?
record.
I'm saying, can you be like Jaw? Like Jaw hasn't made the playoffs yet, but we can't look to him and say he's a loser. He's put his team in positions to win,
But yo, like
to make the playoffs. That's all I'm asking.
I don't know. I think we kind of delve on the line of like how much of the organizations and these teams just better because yeah, we may look to Atlanta and say they have more talent, but like they perpetually been a bad organization. Over the past decade, the Memphis Grizzlies have been good.
Atlanta's been good
For
too, though. In all honesty, like
how long though?
a while. They were on a streak where they made the playoff for like a solid 10 years consecutively. Like I'm not saying they
I
obviously didn't
just
go anywhere, but they've been
right, yeah,
competitive.
yeah, yeah, I hear you. I don't know. So I just think that I think it's hard to compare those two. Like when you compare Ja and you compare Atlanta. Like last year, Memphis was definitely better than Atlanta, but this year, fam, I don't. Again, me personally looking at Atlanta, I don't think they got better. I don't think they added better talent. I just expect them to be better, just regardless. Because I've been telling Maz, I don't think that Bogdanovich man is any good, and Maz know how I feel about Gallo. So, what did the Capella edition was good? I think that was a good addition. But I already told Maz, I think it's kind of redundant when you take John Collins out of center. So, what happens there? I just think it's bad decisions. You added two mans that are shooters that don't really do too much else for me, and I don't think that was your problem. So, I don't think they're going to be good. And irrespective of whatever Trey does, like I just think the team's bad. And I
Fair,
think now we're talking about looking at them to carry mans and bring them to the playoffs. And I just want them to be better, fam. Like the way they started off, they shouldn't be this bad. It's insane.
fair. But let's move forward. So next week on the docket, we got BG with rumors of Blake Griffin. My bad for the abbreviation. Possibly going to the Brooklyn Nets. So like, I know Kevin mentioned this a while back. It just looks like the Brooklyn Nets are just going to be jumping in and buying anybody on the block. Anybody
Dumpster
that's frees
diving.
up is welcome. It's blessed on
Dumpster
this side.
diving, bro.
Um, I guess I'll start it off. I mean, like, I don't know what Blake Griffin is at this point, and I know I voiced that already on this pod. Like, I'm not sure what value he brings to a team because when I watch him play basketball, he doesn't look like he has a true skill anymore. Like, I thought he was okay, maybe playmaking, right? He can play make out of the big spot, but other than that, I don't really know what he's doing. So I think he goes to the Nets, but I don't know how productive of a player he will actually be on the Nets. And granted, I don't know what the Nets will even need from him other than just size and rebounding. But Like for me, if Blake Griffin goes to the Nets, it doesn't move the needle. Like that, he's not really doing much. Because personally, I think Blake Griffin is a stretch to even have in your 7, 8 man rotation. So I don't know. That's just me. But Kev, what you think?
Bro, I think when you add a man that's a multiple time All NBA, All Star, and All Star, like everyone kind of just watches and just waits to see like, is that guy gonna come back? Even if it's in a 20-minute role, are we gonna see a flash in the pan that's gonna help push the needle for the Nets? And until I see that shit, this means nothing. Because as Rob said, what is he bringing to this team? He's not a lob catcher, and that's literally all they ask of their center. That's exactly what DJ's doing. That's exactly what Nicholas Claxton's been doing as of late. So what is BG doing? Are you gonna play the four and get toast on defense? Right now in the healthy lineup, KD's playing the four. So you're gonna come off the bench. Just maybe it's you and Jeff Green off the bench at the center spot and the forward spot. But again, what are you gonna do, man? He can shoot. I can't think. I don't think he shoots better than Jeff Green. It's just as I told man, their roster is so devoid of talent. It's just dumpster diving. They're reaching for anything they can find in there, and it looks like a shiny new toy when you pull that out of the dumpster, and it has multiple time All Star, All NBA, former MVP candidate. And as far as we're concerned, the man was a winner when he was playing in good situations. So there's no knocks on him, but I've been watching. I see people on Twitter moving like they just like KD stacking the deck. Yes, he's been trying to stack the deck, but this isn't one of the cards that he's been stacking.
Yeah,
This man is watched.
facts.
BG's bringing his name, yo. That's what he's bringing.
Yeah, that's facts.
He's bringing his name, and he's bringing his name, and he's bringing jersey sales. He may bring a couple more eyes on the games that they didn't have before, just to see another star name in the pot. Like, you know what I'm saying? But honestly, it's BG's been dead food for a while now, and it's one of those situations where I don't even know exactly, what he's going to be asked to do, because we can't ask him to play defense. We can't ask him to lob. You know what I'm saying? Why would we ask him to shoot when we have so many other shooters on the team that are just better? So, and are we going to ask him to play make? Are we going to ask him to, that's the only thing I can look to. Like, maybe they say, make this or that play out of the high post. But we have Harden for them things. You know what I'm saying? Like, we have KD for those
KD
things.
and Kyrie.
And to a lesser degree, we have Kyrie. Yeah, so it's just one of those where the body can't hurt. You know what I'm saying? And minimum can't hurt. So if you want to pick him up to just see what happens, you may get a 1-2 game of, old school BG. A flash in the pan here and there for a 1-2 game. And honestly, that's all you need in the playoffs. Each series, you just need one game from an outside source that isn't supposed to actually produce for you. And that's pretty much enough for you to move on to the next round. So I'm happy for BG. I hope if the Nets do pick him up and he ends up getting a ring out of this, it's well deserved, honestly, because he had a good career. He stayed dedicated. He stayed, to his craft and all of that. So I'm happy for him if they do pick up.
I think it's one of those situations. I don't know. Go ahead.
I don't know if you guys remember when the Warriors signed Boogie Cousins, and Mans kept putting up the posters with the how many All-Stars, a full starting lineup of All-Stars, completely moving like the man didn't tear his Achilles. It's a similar situation now. He's bringing the name, even though he's been shit for a good 3-4 years now.
Mm-hmm.
And we're not just talking about he's no longer a star. We're talking about this man might not even be a starter or in 8.
He might not be a rotation player.
Right.
Yeah.
But now you're gonna see Mans post up how many All-Star appearances and All NBA appearances are in that Nets team. And I'm not a fool. Still, you can't fool me. That's all.
Granted, he should be better with better players around him. He really, really should.
He should be better.
You know what I'm saying?
Because as of right now, he should not be playing minutes. Period. Right. So I expect him to be better. But how much better are we talking? Because this guy is bad right now.
I think it's one of those situations. I don't know if you guys remember when the Houston Rockets signed Josh Smith, and what's the bald guy? Corey. He was
Corey Brewer?
Yeah, Corey Brewer, the cherry picker, the ultimate cherry picker. And then in that one playoff series, they went out there and won in the game. I feel like that's best case scenario for what
they
the Nets.
Down by like 25.
Yeah. I think that's best case scenario right now, and I think that's what Brooklyn's trying to do. They're just trying to get people like Norvell Pele out the rotation. That guy shouldn't be in the building. Like, you know what I mean? Get a reputable
Yeah.
man who's been in the league and at the very least just knows how to play high level basketball. Whether he can actually go out there and perform is irrelevant, but he knows how to play. Like if you go in there and run a set play, he can do it. And yeah, he's not Blake Griffin at all,
Yeah.
but he's still competent. You know,
Yeah.
The key question is whether or not Blake can beat a mismatch.
nah, impossible.
That will determine if he should even be in the NBA. You know what I'm saying? And like, can I give it to you on the post with a smaller man guarding you? Can you beat a slower footed big man on a drive? You know what I'm saying? That's going to determine whether or not he has any type of value out here. Because if he's going to be playing in the second unit and he can beat a mismatch, then
But
he's a pickup.
I just find that weird because James Harden kind of runs the second unit, and there's no reason to have Blake Griffin on the court if you have James Harden out there, personally, because you're not dumping the ball down to Blake Griffin on the block when you have James Harden in the game. You're not lobbing the ball to him because he can't jump over a piece of paper now. So like, what are you doing out there?
And honestly, Nicholas Claxton is better than that guy, bro. Like,
I'm not ready
legit.
to go that far.
He
Better,
is
no,
still.
but in that team and what they need from a big man, I'd say yeah. But I don't know if I'm going to support it. He's played like 3 games, so
Yeah.
well, I'm not ready to.
I'm not championing a second round pick to go over him just yet, still, because Nicholas Jackson just started playing basketball. That guy's been here for a while, and I can't depend on him, and I can't depend on Blake either. I'm just not ready to put that guy over Blake. But let's move forward. We got one more topic we want to talk about before we go to break. So, right now, for the first time in a long time, like I think this is probably the first time in my recent history, I remember the New York Knicks being competitive and actually being buyers in the trade market, as they try to position themselves in the playoff hunt. Well, they're in the playoff seed right now, or playoff hunt right now. So I'm not gonna say as they try. Um, but yeah, right now the reports are is that they're trying to get together possible packages to acquire a star, either to stay for the one season or for years to come. I'm gonna need a second to think and collect my thoughts on this one still. So, okay, Chris, you go ahead still, because I don't. You
Man's on
might
the
not
floor.
like what I have to say about this one still.
You can hit it off, Kev. You can hit it off still.
As
All
are
right, if
charging
I'm the
up, eh?
Knicks, fam, I'm giving you whatever you want, dog. I'm giving you everything, anything you want. You can have MSG to everything. You need a star at this point. Man's can't. This team isn't good. Let's not get it twisted. In the next season, this team could easily be 14-30 right now. So I'm not gonna play and move like they're good. Go get a star. Do anything you can. Trade Julius Randle for whatever he has left, whatever value he has. I don't think it's much because he's on an expiring deal. Give up. Who are the young pieces now? Oh, RJ Barrett, Mitchell Robinson. See if someone
Quickly,
anything, fam. All the picks in the world. You don't take picks. You don't take good. You don't draft well. Give them all away. Go get a guy if you can. Try and get Beal. Try and get Towns. I don't think Towns is likely, but try. And if that doesn't work in the offseason, tell Emmanuel give him a private jet too. Do anything possible right now, because the Nets are about to run away with the thing. You had your first good season in years, and you can't waste it. This is their performance right now is the only thing in the past 5-6 years that could have any man look at the team and say, you know what, I might want to play here. Other than that, they've just been trying to draw man's off name, and it's clearly not working. So you had a good year. I say be as aggressive as possible and just try and get something.
Taj Gibson, bro. We were just talking about Lloyd Pierce not batting above his weight class. Taj Gibson is batting above his weight class with this. Not Taj Gibson, sorry. Tom Thibodeau is batting above his weight class with this team. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's taken his defensive imprint and he is smearing it all over this roster right now. To the thing
Pause.
that fam, nah, he's smearing that fam right now. He's smearing it right now. They're top 5 in defense, bro. And honestly, like, we never knew Noel to be playing like fundamental defense to where it's going to show up. Like, we know him to be active. We know him to be active. We know Noel to be active and get steals and blocks. But
I've
when
been on this
it
pod
came to
too.
like his
Yeah.
plus minus or anything like that, we never really knew him to be doing like fundamentally strong defense. Alfred Payton, another guy that was like more of a steals, a gambler out there. I didn't know RJ Barrett was a defender either. Bro, all he has this team looking like the fucking Chicago Bulls defense without Joakim Noah. It's ridiculous. Shout out to him. He should be in the coach of the year discussion. But when it comes to like him getting a star, They need to do anything to get a star at this point. They haven't had this type of buzz around the city since Carmelo was dropping 62 in the Garden, fam. This is the time for them to go out and say, I'm trying to actually bottle up all of this momentum and feed it to a man that's going to believe me. Maybe a man like PG is watching this, and a man like PG, because I know you're not going to get PG, but a man like PG, one of those lower tier stars or lower tier superstars, he's watching this saying, bro,
Exactly.
imagine the type of Zach Levine, exactly. Imagine the type of you know publicity or noise I can get around my name if I was the star. Because Julius Randle, we know what Julius Randle is at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? So if an actual star was in New York right now, bro, the city would be his. The city would definitely be his because it's the same thing. Until the Nets go out there and win a championship, it's still Knicks town, fam. It's still Knicks town. It probably will always be Knicks town, regardless. So they need to do anything to go get a star, man. And honestly, it's nice to see the Knicks performing relatively good right now. It's nice. Basketball needs this. Basketball definitely needs it.
See,
I feel like we've been fine without it still.
here's my thing. Like, I agree with you guys, but I'm on the opposite side of the fence because my thing is this, right? I'm looking at the New York Knicks and I'm like, you guys haven't been relevant since Melo was there doing what he was doing. Why rush the process? Like, I understand.
Because you're not good.
I know that you're not good, but you're not good, and you getting a star might not make you good. Let's be honest. Like, you getting Bradley Beal,
But it's a
but
start.
it's not a start though, because you getting Bradley Beal might not do anything for
But
you.
it is.
But I'm saying, we could always talk about getting these stars, but unless you're getting one of those top 7 guys, there's no guarantee that they're going to put you in any better of a position than what you're already in. We see what Bradley Beal and Russell
Fam, we're
Westbrook are doing
past
right
that
now.
though.
Like, it's not that
Bro,
easy. So what I'm saying is like, yo, why are you going to sell your chips to maybe what move one spot, 2 spots up in the standings? Like, come on. And I'm not saying that Julius Randle is a
Walk before
franchise
you run,
cornerstone.
man.
I don't think he's a franchise cornerstone or anything. I'm not saying all that. I'm just saying, why rush the process? Finish out the season, make your playoffs, like as you're scheduled to do right now, and then
And
assess an
resign
off
Bro,
season.
and resign Randall and resign
Yeah, but
Randall.
you don't have to resign Randall. You can sign and trade. You can do whatever you need.
Resign
But I'm
Randall.
just like, why are you gonna burn all your assets in the mid-season just to get
fam.
up
Bro,
2 standing
this
points?
team has it. Yo, it's not more. Yo, we can't even talk standings when it comes to the Knicks. You have to walk before you run. Mans are thinking too far ahead. Can we get a star and then figure the rest out later?
Can we make the playoffs and then
Because
get a
My
star?
thing is, bro, it's not like this is not a fam. This is not a Hornets conversation where a man can say, "Yo, don't rush it." Like we have talent on the young talent on
Mans
the
are shit,
roster.
bro.
You know what I'm saying? Like we don't have talent on this roster, fam. What do you mean don't rush? What the fuck are we rushing? There ain't nothing to rush, fam. We don't have anything.
We're waiting on Kevin Knox.
This is lightning in a bottle right now. We got to strike.
Fam, they have. Let's not do that, man. They have Barrett, which is a top 3 pick. They have Toppin. They have Quickly. Like, come
Fam,
on, man.
aside from Barrett, there's no one on that team I can look at and say, yo, like
My nigga,
I'm gonna wait for you.
RJ. RJ?
Nah,
That's what you're bringing to me
nah.
right
Chill,
now.
chill, chill.
You're bringing
RJ,
RJ to me,
RJ has at least shown promise, bro. At least, at the very
fam.
least, opposed to a man like Kevin Knox. Is all I'm saying.
What are we waiting on with RJ though? Do you think RJ's ever going to be an All Star?
Bro, yes,
He's gotten better.
he could definitely be an Eastern Conference All
I
Star.
think he can be an all star. I'm not saying
Yeah,
no one's saying he's going to, but he can. What do you mean? The man's
this
gotten better in his second year. That's all you can ask for from him.
bro. I think
As
these
opposed
guys
to
are ready
Kevin
to
Knox who
close a
regressed.
chapter on these guys. Why are people ready to close chapters on guys before the rookie contracts even finished? That's my thing. It's a
It's
second
not even that. If a
season.
man comes up the next year and plays better than the first year, like, is that not promising? What more do you want from a man? He's not going to be mellow. There's not everyone's going to be mellow first time. I'm not even saying this guy's going to be good. What I'm saying is he's at least shown you some inclination that he's going to get better.
Mm-hmm.
You can't ask for more. You're just here now talking about this man as a defender when a year ago you would have said the complete opposite. So at least the man is showing you some ability to get better. And we're going to write him off as being an all-star? A year ago, if I asked you if Julius Randle would have been an all-star, you would have laughed me out the place. And I would have laughed too. And now he's an all-star. So let's not move like this thing's impossible. The man has gotten better. What did
Bro,
did Julius Randle ever look like an all-star in his second year in the NBA? No.
he still wasn't an All Star in my book, but he got the nod. What I'm saying is the same way with Julius, where we wouldn't have pegged him as an All Star, is the same reason why you don't have to wait on a man like R.J. Barrett. You wouldn't have waited on a man like Julius either. Yes, Julius made the All Star team, but none of his past teams are saying, "Damn, we fucked up." That's what I'm saying. Nobody that he's played for in the past is saying, "Shit, we really should have kept Julius around." That's not the
Nah, but
narrative.
I understand. But what you're doing is you're penciling RJ in along with man's like Kevin Knox, and that's just not right.
I'm
So
not. I'm
let's
not. I never made that comparison. All I said was, do we see him reaching that height of All Star? And I don't. That's all I said.
I think that's too easy, too hard. I think that's too premature just because, like, I think people have to understand there's a natural progression in NBA. And as for recent years, we've seen these guys come out the gate and, yeah, they're fine on all cylinders. But, yo, mans don't really get good in the NBA until their third, fourth year. That's just a natural progression. So I'm not going to say that not Kevin Knox, RJ Barrett in his second year, I'm just going to close a chapter and say, yeah, you're just going to be a middle of the road player because I don't know that. And look, they have Ovi Toppin. He was a lottery pick. Granted, he's a little bit older, but he still was a lottery pick for a reason. Emmanuel quickly's been playing well. We'll write Knox off. That's cool. But
see, I
what's
don't care about
stopping them
those
from
numbers.
just
I
going
don't
in an
care about those
offseason
numbers.
and using the cap space? What's stopping them? I just don't see the rush. Again, I'm
The
not
cap
a
space.
I'm not a
Who's
fan of the
available?
midseason trades.
But who's
Go
available
ahead, Kim.
as you say that? Who's
In the
available?
offseason,
Like you're saying that in the offseason. Yeah, who's available?
whoever's available in the offseason is available at the trade deadline. That's the way I look at it.
You said
Because I
using the
haven't.
cap space, so I thought you meant free agents.
Oh, no,
Me
no, no. I
personally,
mean,
I'm
like
going
you,
after a
yeah.
man like Zach LaVine. I'm going after a man like Zach LaVine who hasn't necessarily isn't recognized as that top level player yet, but he's just right on the cusp where if you put this man in, if let's keep it up, if Levine's on the Knicks right now, mans are asking if this guy's a superstar, right? So that's the type of guy I'm looking for. I'm gonna try and get that guy, and I'm gonna figure the rest out later, fam. Like these, the Knicks are so void of any talent that mans can't be talking about playoffs. Make the playoffs cool, but I know in my heart this team could very well be in 13th place right now. And I feel like the Knicks probably know that too.
It is what it is, man. I don't know. I'm not a big proponent of making midseason trades to all of a sudden bolster your squad and think that you're gonna finish in a better
You just sound
position.
scared still.
It's not even scared. It's just like, what's the rush? Especially if you're not a contender in my books. I don't believe you should be making mid-season trades that are drastically changing the construction of your roster because it's like one of those
Bro, a
situations you have nothing
contender
to
wouldn't
lose.
be relying on Julius Randle still.
True, which is fair, right? But like, are you gonna ruin a good thing? Like, you know what I mean? Like, suppose you make the trade now and you don't make the
Fam, at
playoffs.
some point you have to, bro. You're sounding like Danny Ainge, fam. Like you just want no
Fam, I'll
movements.
pull the trigger in the
At some
offseason.
point, push the envelope, my
In the
G.
offseason.
Nah, nah,
In the
nah, nah.
offseason.
No, no. At some point, it's time to make a move. At some point, because when can you make the move? Then
At the offseason.
you only want to make a move now. You only want to make a move when you're 50 wins in, and then even then, you're gonna tell me we don't really know. You're gonna talk like Dallas, fam. We don't really know yet, and like when is it okay to make a move then?
In the
Yo, this
offseason,
team
fam.
could go five. This team could go 5-20 to end the season, and niggas don't even care about Julius Randle no more. Let's keep it a buck, fam. All these men that we're looking at right now as being players that have value. If this team becomes shit like they probably should be to close out the season, we won't even hear any trade talks with Knicks because no one will care.
That's
So
true.
just take advantage of the perceived value that these guys have. Like these men are playing well,
Cash in,
playing
fam.
defense. Like yo, let's let's put in the temporary man and get someone that's permanent, that's proven, and let's figure it out after that.
Fair. Fair. Makes sense. I guess. We'll see. The Knicks are going to do what they want to do. I just don't think mid-season trades are the best thing for them. But who am I? Um, but anyways, it's time for us to take our first break. So stay tuned. We'll be right back after this quick break. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. So quick little break, but let's dig into it because we have a really interesting fact or stat that I don't think a lot of people know about. So for those of you who don't know, Zion's having a really good season. I'm gonna say good because his team's not in the playoffs currently, so I can't call it great. But individually speaking, he's performing. So there's this stat that was brought to my attention on NBA Reddit, and they're basically saying that Zion is the second player in NBA history to average a minimum of 25 points per game and average 60% field goal throughout the season. Now, personally, I found this a little surprising because I thought that a lot of other guys would have been in this category. Like I thought Hakeem, David Robinson,
There's
Shaq.
massive jumpers still.
Yeah, but
Except for
oh
Shaq.
yeah, true, true. But Shaq wasn't taking jumpers. I thought Shaq was
Nah,
finishing
not
everything.
Shaq.
But yeah, this is just interesting because like I think right now, like obviously the rookie season was cut short. But a lot of people were like not as high as Zion, saying that he wasn't really living up to his potential. from what they had seen at Duke, and this season the perception has kind of changed, right? So how do you guys feel about just Zion generally and that stat? Because it's interesting, like honestly, like that's a short list of people to beat there, and honestly, 60% FG is nothing to laugh about. So what do you guys think?
Yeah, I think, I think he's getting towards the lines where we can talk about him as an elite scorer. Because to put up 26 a game on 60% field goal shooting is insane. That means we know he's not shooting much, so that means he goes to the bucket. If he goes to the net, it's a foul or a bucket. One of the two. One of the two options. And there's not too many mans in the league like that. As of based on that stat, there's no one in the league like that. And
Mm-hmm.
we can pick and choose. We can pick, nitpick on the faults, but when a man's playing this well, you kind of just have to give it up still. If he can continue to get better upon this and he continue to round out his game and get better, because right now his offense looks to be good, right? He can score. And the way he's doing it, he's gonna be able to score for the next couple of years, right? And how are we gonna see him progress? I don't know. But as of right now, he's playing well and he's kind of over exceeding what I had for him this year. Being that efficient is nuts. And he's getting better at the line, and it's something to look forward to from the Pelicans.
Point Zion is a real thing. It's alive and well, and I like how they're using him. And like he's bringing up the ball, and they have him in the JJ Redick pick and rolls where you have a decision to make. If both mans come out on him, you're leaving the man like JJ Redick wide open. And if you don't come out on him, properly, he's going to be in the basket. And sometimes even if you do come out on him and you're still in front of him, he'll go through you and he's going to the basket. So that whole point thing, I heard the coach talk about it, saying that they want to explore it more, but it's up to him to get in physical shape in order to actually do that throughout games for 82 games consistently. Right now, he's saying that they have to use it in spurts. But when it pertains to him in his scoring, it's a revelation, honestly. Like I was watching a Utah game, and I would have thought that Rudy Gobert would be one of those guys in the league that can neutralize a guy like Zion just because of how long he is paused and what he does. His name, he makes his money off of the defensive end. And when I tell you Zion goes right through the guy, fam, I'm talking about like literally puts that big guy in the basket every time, every single time. And I'm saying, well, so who's the matchup for Zion then? Because if I can't just put a long guy on you, pause again. If you're gonna dirty that guy, then I don't know who I'm putting on you. Because there's obviously nobody else in the league with your type of body that can say I'm gonna go girth for girth. Big pause. You see what I'm saying? So
He lined that one up still. He lined that one up.
but
Yo.
it ain't nobody like him, fam. So like it's one of those where, yo, how long do we got it for? You know what I'm saying? Like, is he a minute man? Nah, I'm getting out of hand. But yeah,
Yeah, I'm gonna take this man off the mic still. Yo, I think yo, Rob's goals.
Yo, all I'm saying is this: like, obviously, 25 points per game on 60% FG is nothing to laugh about. But my thing is this: is like, I think there's a trend in the NBA where people get good, they have like a breakout season, and the league catches up. New game plans, new schemes. And I'm not saying that Zion is like a guy that obviously you can game plan for, because we've seen teams try and do stuff and it's not really effective. But I think it's going to come a point in time where he's going to have to evolve his game. If you watch it right now, yeah, he brings the ball up, but majority of his scoring comes from they dumping it into the post with him, quick turnaround to the basket, turnaround lob. It's really quick plays. Like he's not really getting a lot of action where he actually is able to just size up and do what he needs to do. And when he does that, he's effective as well. But I think the problem is like now when the league catches up in like a year's time, he's gonna have to be able to incorporate some other elements in his game if he wants to maintain this. Obviously, it's not efficiency, but maintain this level of play in terms of scoring and semi-efficiency. So, I'm gonna give him his flowers where he's due, because it's no small feat to be doing that, especially on 60% FG. But I just wonder what's the next step for Zion. Like, what are you gonna do to evolve his game? Because the 3-point isn't there yet, and I don't know if it ever will be there, right? But like for instance, like a guy like Giannis took it.
you can dash for the three.
Yeah, but
So
like a guy like Giannis never got the three, but he was able to evolve his game to the point where he's still able to go there and drop 27 plus and not bad at night. Like, you know what I mean? So what's the next step for Zion once teams kind of figure out what's going on? right? Because they will figure it out. Like they'll build
Yeah.
the wall, they'll do whatever, they'll double, they'll figure it out. So yeah, I need to see what's next in the game, even if it's just a little running floater game, you know, a little mid range game, something. But you can't just keep going to them every time because eventually they're gonna figure it out eventually.
Yeah, the adjustment's coming. I don't think it's going to be this year, but by next season they're going to figure out a way to stop him from getting to the basket as much as he has been. We saw it happen to Pascal. Like this year, they cut down his ability to get to the rim by like half, and we started blaming Pascal. When in reality, like teams just realize you can't let this guy get to the basket, and they're going to do the same thing for Zion. A team can't go into a game saying I'm gonna let a man drop 25 on my head on 60% shooting, and he's not even, and I'm not gonna do anything about it. They're gonna send multiple players, so it's not gonna be one Rudy Gobert. It's gonna be two forwards with enough size, again, pause, to try and keep him out of the lane. And how is he going to adapt to that? Is he going to be able to find the counter moves to still, make it work? Is he going to be able to hit open shooters and play make in that sense? Or is he going to get a game that can evolve outside of the restricted line? I don't know.
Can he pass out the
But
double team? That's the real question.
but the thing is
No,
about that
he's a
question,
good passer.
there's like two mans in the NBA that can do that. That's why I don't like when mans ask
Mm.
that question like it's something that's normal. Like Chris has been asking for Embiid to be able to do that for like 3 years now, and fam,
Ever
mans can't do
for
that
4
shit.
years now.
The only man I can think of in the league that it will get double teamed and can pass out of it is Jokic. Any other man that can pass out of it, I don't even think they're double teamed because Anthony Davis isn't that great either. He's better than most. I probably say he's probably better than Embiid, but he's not great at passing out with double team. It's hard to do. These men aren't used to making reads like that. So he's a bit smaller, so he should have more skill to be able to do it, but not very few can still.
I why I don't agree with the league is just going to adjust with him because yeah they're going to make adjustments, but will those adjustments amount to anything? Is what I'm saying. Like for example, right? He's not like Siakam to where Siakam isn't necessarily a freak in any sense of the word. So you can make adjustments for those guys. But when a man is just a freak of nature, there's really nothing you can actually do to adjust to him. Like a Giannis, like you can adjust to Giannis. Giannis leads the league in charges every year. You know what I'm saying? Offensive fouls every single year. That's you building a wall. That's you adjusting. But what he also does is he drops his 30 every night. So it's like can Zion be the same type of way where maybe they make it harder for him, but the numbers are still the numbers because he is Zion Williamson. And as long as his motor is high, he's going to get those numbers regardless of whatever the defense presents to him.
But that's what I was saying about like the counter moves and being able to figure out how to still score within that area when they do send the adjustments. Because as you said, Mans have tried to make adjustments against Giannis, but he's figured out ways to say fuck that I'm getting my numbers inside this paint regardless. And I think that's gonna be the part we have to figure out like can he do that? Because right now the way I see Zion, it's drive to the basket, 2 foot takeoff. I'm hitting you, and I'm finishing this. Right? I think we see a bit more from Giannis, and I expect Zion to develop a bit more. But again, he's gonna have to at some point. Is what I'm saying.
I just want to know how fast it comes because it could.
Wait,
Those adjustments are coming. So I hear you. I hear you still.
The thing about it
Yo,
is because like again, like we always say this that like yeah, the league is evolving. We're getting different types of players. We're getting players we've never seen before. But the problem is like Zion, it's not one of those situations where it's like he's doing a lot. He's playing simple basketball. It's just that he's overpowering you. Giannis is different because Giannis is a 7 footer that will take you at the top of the key and just drive down, Euro step, whatever. We haven't really seen that before. Zion's not doing anything new.
stuff it down your throat, line.
Nah, yo, take this man's mic off of it. What'd you wake up on this morning, bro? Get out of here. But no, in all seriousness, like I feel like it's one of those situations where it's like,
Inferno boys.
yeah, it's not that he's doing anything different. He's playing simple basketball. It's just that he's overpowering and stronger than man. So it's not going to be hard for people to figure out what to do to stop him, right? Because it's simple basketball. So can he adjust? Like that. That's really what I'm concerned about because like I want to say that you can do this moving forward, but the reality is that you're not. This is the most competitive league on earth. Like if they can't adjust, then like what are we really talking about? It's the NBA. Like you know what I mean? Every season you come in with a different element
Yo,
added to the game.
fam, I'm surprised they haven't done anything yet. Because if you're looking at the scouting report and the man's coming in and giving you 60% from the field, putting up that type of efficiency, you gotta do something. I got to double him anytime he gets the ball. I think they do a good job of getting him the ball on the run, right? When he
Hmm.
gets the ball, he's already moving, so it's hard to send that double team. It's hard to send that
He
second
ain't
man.
doing nothing.
It's hard to send that
That
second man.
that second man's bouncing off
Yeah,
of
that
that.
second. It's hard when he's already moving. Like it's hard for that second man to even get there before he's at the rim. So I think that's what they're doing a good job of doing, and I can see that working. But again, it's something I've never seen before. So like, is it a gimmick or is it something that's real that they can't figure out? So I don't know. We'll see. But as we said, like he's
Yeah.
playing amazing, and All Star in your second year, he probably would have been an All Star first year if he was healthy. But that's a great start to your resume still.
Um, moving forward, let's talk about KPJ, man. I feel like this is a saga that nobody wants to talk about. Like he's kind of, I don't want to say he's a lost cause because he's talented, right? But he's obviously had some issues. Like he had some issues at USC. He got kicked off the team. Still went drafted, but went later than he was supposed to. Went to Cleveland, injured, mental health. Got mad because they moved his locker down the hallway for Turian Prince. Got traded down to the G League, and now he's tearing the G League. The talent's never been questioned, right? Like he's in the G League tearing it up right now, and he just recently got called up back to the Rockets. So I don't think it's a question of whether or not he could play in this league, but it's a question of whether or not he can put it together. And I think I liken this to the NFL because the NFL we see the situation happen a lot more. Like you see guys with red flags in the draft all the time, saying like he is a first round talent, but he's going second, third, fourth round because he might not be able to put it together. Greg Hardy, um, Pac Man. There's a bunch of NFL guys that we have situations like this, but I guess my question to you, and I'll pose this to you, Kev, is like, do you think that KPJ will ever be able to put it together? Because in all honesty, I think he's better than like a lot of guys in the same age range as him.
Yeah, yo, his profile as a player is crazy. Like left-handed shit aside, like he looks like James Harden out there, and he has the athleticism of a young James Harden. So like, I don't know, man. Like his story is I'm rooting for him because his story is a sad one. Like I don't know if you guys know like the story about his father. His father got killed, I think, trying to break up a fight or some shit. So like, it's kind of hard to harp on a man and like be critical of a man who comes from that. Like to be young and have that shit happen to you, you're kind of starting off bad already. But I just hope he can. Like the talent is there. Whether he can or he can't, I don't know. I don't know. I think too much has happened within his what is he, year 3 now? Like he has a
Yeah,
laundry list already, and he's only 3 years into the NBA.
I
Like
think so.
it's not looking good. I'll say I can't. I'm gonna have to be objective and say it's not looking good, but I'm certainly rooting for him. I remember seeing this kid at like 16 hooping with NBA players in the summer and giving them buckets though. So I know the talent is there, man, and it's just more often than not these mans don't figure it out. Like let's if we keep it a buck, they don't. But this one I'm specifically rooting for. So
There was a reason why he got drafted where he got drafted. You see what I'm saying? There's a reason why he went. I think he went 30th overall, and he has talent where he should have been a lottery pick. But he had these issues, these questions coming in,
hmm
you know, coming into the league. And it's never a good thing when you have these questions and they rear their heads early on, because this is what mans were afraid of. In saying that, though, the talent is undeniable. Right now in the G League, I pulled up the numbers because, and we're talking about Kevin Porter Jr. By the way, we just said KPJ, but he's averaging 24 points a game, 7 rebounds and 7 assists. Granted, with the 7 assists, he is averaging damn near 5 turnovers a game as well. So that's almost a 1-for-1 ratio. But nonetheless, he's a bucket and he can handle the ball and you can run things through him. Houston is saying that they want to use him as a backup playmaker off the bench. Um, and I hope it happens. I really do. Right now, Houston has nothing to play for. They're complete ass. So this is the time where you have to use a talent like that and see what you have and see how it can formulate around other mans while you have a depot, while you have Christian Wood and things like that. See how it fits in. But I just hope that he gets his head right, because once your head is gone, it's normally gone. And I don't know what he has to do to get his head back. I see in the offseason, he was talking about suicide, bro. Like, when we say his head is gone, it's gone, bro. It's not like he's just temperamental like a Kyrie Irving. Like, nah, this guy has visible demons that he deals with. Visible demons. Where I don't know how he pulls himself out of that. But I hope he does, man. Godspeed for real, because the talent is there, and it will be a fucking shame if he doesn't have a one of those careers like a Nick Young, where he's just in the league dropping buckets. You know what I'm saying? Like 14, 16 per game scorer for the rest of his career.
I think it's definitely one of those situations where if he goes to a good team that can put the right resources in place, and maybe get him to seek the help that he needs, lighten his load, maybe have a senior or a veteran kind of mentor him and show him the ropes. I think he would be able to excel. I don't know if Houston is that place. I damn sure know that Cleveland wasn't that place. But I think it's just a matter of time. Like if he does end up in that right situation, I think he'll be able to at least be a competent rotational player. But if he doesn't, it could go downhill fast, if not already, right? So um, it's definitely one of those situations. But touching on
This is a guy that averaged 10 points a game as a rookie, fam.
true, he was in the Drew
Yeah, like he
League,
played
as Kev
well,
said, giving
bro.
man's
Like,
buckets.
He averaged 10 points.
yeah, like at
He
16,
averaged 10
fam.
points a game as a rookie, fam. Like he's a hooper, bro.
Yeah,
I think as Rob was saying, if you put him in the right situation, fam, like just give him encouragement. I think what the Rockets should do is just ease him in still. Like just focus on making sure that he's like enjoying himself out there. Put him in situations where he can succeed. Give him a little bit of a leash, right? Not saying let him run the thing and just move stupid, but let him make mistakes. Is what I'd say, right? You're not playing for anything, so let him out like that, make mistakes, coach him through it, and I hope the Rockets actually care about him because we know that there's situations where mans get players, but they just don't necessarily care about them, so they don't care whether or not they play well. You're just there because you
Mm.
were part of a deal, right? And I hope that's not the Rockets because you gave away James Harden. John Wall has looked fairly well. It looks like Depot's on his way out. Like you can see if you have something in this guy, and at least give him a chance to prove himself. So I hope he gets that chance in Houston because whether or not Houston cares about him, if they don't care about if they don't give him a chance, then no one else is going to give him a chance. Everyone's just going to look at him as he's not worth it.
And speaking of Depot, that nigga's bugging, fam. The fact that he turned down that max extension, you're wilding.
He's
But that
Miami
is what
bound
it is.
still. I think Houston just offered that to him so they could trade him. Realistically, I think he's Miami bound.
So they can get a reason to say, yeah, we tried.
Nah, to like no offered it to him so like he's not an expiring deal, so he has more value when he's being traded.
Oh, I hear that.
Yeah. Robs, we saying you're muted. Unmute yourself, Robs.
my bad, bro. Computer's wilding these days. My bad. But you touched on Kyrie being temperamental. I don't know if this is another one of the situations, but right now he's championing or petitioning the NBA to change the logo to Kobe. Um, Me personally, I think that's short term thinking, right? Because I feel like if the logo is going to be changed, I'm pretty sure we know who should we change it to. Like, I'm not saying that he's wrong for doing that because at the same time, I feel like that's a great way to memorize a legend in this game. But if we're gonna like commemorate somebody, I think we all know we should do. Like Michael Jordan is basketball. Like he's the reason why I wear hoop earrings. We still wear his shoes. Like he changed the game forever. I think he should be the logo, but I'm not blaming Kyrie for petitioning. But if you see the way he's going about it, like apparently like he's sending letters to the league office and he's like being really, really like he's not going about it in the democratic way. He's basically like trying to like overthrow the ship and basically put blackmail Adam Silver into saying like, yo, you need to do this for the culture, for the people, which I don't think is the right approach. But what do you guys think?
All right, here's my issue with Kyrie Irving, fam. And I feel like we can never argue his intention. It's just every way he go. It's just the way he goes about things, right? For one, I don't necessarily think that they should change the logo to Kobe Bryant, although it's past. That's my favorite player ever, right? But I still don't know if that's the solution here. But in terms of Kyrie, he said you should change the logo to Kobe Bryant because Black Kings built this league.
Built
Like,
the league.
why are you making it
Yeah.
a black thing? Is my question. Like, if Kobe Bryant is this great player, right? What does it have to do with him being black? That's my question, right?
Well, I don't think that he's saying that it's because he's black. I think he's saying that it's Kobe Bryant and besides, like
Right. But
as an
here's the
aside,
thing, right?
you know?
I hear you, right? But it's you know what certain people are gonna grab onto the moment they hear it. They could hear Kobe Bryant, multiple time All Star, this, that, one of the best players ever, one of the most famous, popular players ever, polarizing players, and they're just gonna hear the black thing. It's just a question of why to me. It's like the timing, like some of the things you say and the reasoning behind it is just why. Race like Kobe
Well,
Bryant.
I think
Kobe Bryant could be the logo off merit alone, right?
Facts.
It
he
doesn't.
could be.
And who else are we putting up for the logo that isn't black? Let's keep it a buck.
Yeah, but that's his point.
But it's irrelevant
But
to
I
mention.
That
get
right there
He's
is
just
his
trying to
point.
stir the pot.
that's what I'm saying. It's irrelevant to message. Yeah, like it's just like I just don't understand why, fam. Certain things I'm just asking why. We know what black people have done for this league, right? Saying that is gives them an opportunity to pick and choose what they want to listen to. You could have a full quote with 100 words, and they're just going to grab onto that, and it's like why? Because it holds no relevance in the situation.
But it does though. And okay, this is one of those times where I agree with Kyrie, right? I feel like Kyrie is in the space where he is, when they say unapologetically black, to the point where he's in that space where he doesn't care about what any other people have to say about anything when it pertains to black. You know what I'm saying? So like, for example, yes, you braising that, black kings built this league, and white mans are going to feel a way about it just because of race has now entered the conversation. Now they feel a way. Kyrie doesn't give a fuck.
But those are the demands that you're asking to make the change. That's my issue.
Yeah, but and this is what Rob's is saying. I think Rob's is saying that he's trying to overthrow the ship, because what he's doing is he's saying black man's built the league. Yes, we all understand that. We all know that. And for the white mans that see this and hear me saying this and now is feeling away, fuck your feelings. Change it
See, but that
anyway.
can't be the
And
vibe,
I
though.
hear
That
that.
can't be the vibe.
It has to be the vibe. No, it has to be the vibe though,
But
because
the
he's
thing is,
absolutely right.
no, it can be right, and we're not arguing that. But like, are you trying to? It's just fam. Like, I'm just like, pick and choose your battles, fam. Like, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying you can't be unapologetically black, right? But what are you trying to achieve here? Are you trying to convince mans that Black Kings built the league, or are you just trying to get Kobe Bryant as a logo right now? You can do both things,
No,
but actively doing them at the same time takes away from the other. And for me, it's like,
I don't think so though,
but
because if he went the timid route, if he
he,
went the route where he's like,
no, but hold on,
Kobe deserves to be it, and that's it. Well, that's not gonna get anything. That's not gonna get any
fam. What's
conversation.
the
Like, man's are gonna blow that over.
how? If he goes up there and says Kobe Bryant, if he says every single thing he said and leaves out that last sentence, what difference does it make? Why are man's not going to be talking about it? All they're doing is not going to be talking about
I'm
from the race. Like, they're not blowing it over. You're moving like to convince mans that Kobe Bryant should be the logo. You have to convince them that black men built the league. That doesn't even make sense.
It doesn't
no,
make
but
sense,
no,
though.
but what? But no. Here's why it makes sense, because you also have to convince him to take the white man off. That's what he's doing. Like, it's not only he's saying this is Kobe deserves it, and take the white man off our logo. That's all.
Okay,
It's two
but hold
different
on.
conversations he's trying to have
I
in one.
understand that,
So
Chris.
He
hold
has to
on, hold on.
remove
So
the
hold
white
on.
man off the
So hold
logo.
on, because I never saw it that way. So if you're telling me be unapologetically black, say that. Then. Say take the white man off the logo.
Yeah, but he's basically saying that though.
No, so
That's
now
what that is what
so
he's
he's picking.
saying.
So you're telling me he's picking and choosing when he wants to be democratic and he wants to choose his words
He's
wisely.
not being democratic though. Yo, I feel like him saying Black Kings built this league is his way to say whatever he's saying in the most definitive way.
But I think
I feel like that's more definitive than saying take the white
no,
man
no, no,
down.
no,
He's saying,
no.
fam, he's basically saying a white man shouldn't have never been
But
up there. That's what he's saying by that
this
statement.
is the problem, Chris. I'm gonna jump onto what Kev said. You're trying to achieve two separate goals here. Okay, one, you're trying to get
I just
no, but
acknowledged
what I'm
that.
saying is trying to put Kobe on the logo shouldn't be in the way you're going about it is wrong. It should be a way to commemorate a great player, right? You shouldn't use the context and
But he
environment that
said that.
no, I understand it, but you're using the context and environment and that we're in right now to basically blackmail a man to put Kobe on the logo, and that's not what it should be. Like, you should raise the
Because
discussion,
off
have
merit
mans
alone,
have
you should.
yeah, like you should be raise the discussion, have people be able to chat about it, and then do it because they want to do it and because they're trying to commemorate a great player, not use it because they feel like they're getting blackmailed because
Bro,
it's a race topic. No,
I just don't see that, because bro, he gave Kobe his flowers. We all heard him give Kobe his flowers. And then he's also basically just throwing shade, bro. Like, the fact that a white man is our logo is stupid anyways. That's what
how is
he's
it
saying.
stupid?
A white man never should have been our logo. That's all he's
Back when the
saying.
logo was
And
created, it made sense.
That's what I'm saying.
no, what I'm saying is no. What I'm saying, he's saying from the point where this NBA became the NBA. That's what he's saying. From the point we were recognized as the NBA, like across the markets, that was off the strength of black men. That's all he's saying. So yes, Kobe, of all the black men that are deserving, Kobe is the most deserving to him. Granted, for all of what happened, and it should not be a discussion whether or not we take Jerry West off of the logo. because this is a black belt
So why are
league,
you just saying that
anyways.
now though? That's my thing now. Because again,
That's what he's
no. I'm saying
saying.
why is
Yo,
Kyrie
fam, I
saying
don't
that
know.
right now?
Maybe
Like if you felt like that from day one and you're at pro black and unapologetically black, which he's been saying, and
no.
there's nothing
But
wrong.
here's
Why are
the
you
thing,
saying that
right?
now? It just sounds like you're using Kobe Bryant because it's
Because
convenient.
no, it's not about it's convenient. It's because the time is right. That's the difference. He's not trying to cherry pick Kobe Bryant. When you're talking about things like changes like this, bro, obviously the death is a big aspect of it. So Kyrie's trying to figure out how to commemorate a man like Kobe Bryant in the best possible way.
Right,
And for him, that's the logo.
right.
Now, just him bringing up Kobe's name in this time doesn't mean he's trying to cherry pick in order to get a white man off the thing. No, he's saying, bro, granted everything, and take account everything. Kobe is the one out of everyone ahead of Michael Jordan who deserves it because of what happened, because of how he went out. And how do we honor our heroes? We're going to put him in the place, in the position, and a white man shouldn't be in there anyways. That's all he's saying.
Yeah, but
And
Yo,
I don't see
I
the
agree with
problem
the
with it.
yo,
message. I just don't agree with the method.
yeah, like, yo, fam, man's not arguing the message, right? Not, I don't want to make that clear. Man's not arguing the message. With Kyrie, it has never even necessarily been about the message. It's about the intentions. As I said, like, you just didn't need to. For me, it brings up man's aren't talking about Kobe Bryant's achievements anymore, and that's what it should have been about, right? It should have been about the passing. It should have been about the achievements, what he did for the game, what he did for people, right? Instead, it's about Black Kings built the league. And yes, we can all admit that
But
is true, right? But fam, pick and choose. Because again, as Rob said, why were you not saying this before Kobe Bryant's passing? And whether he was or not, I didn't hear it.
because then there wasn't
Why wasn't he petitioning for Michael Jordan?
he could have fam he could have always felt this is what I'm trying to say. He could have always felt like this. He could have always felt that a black man should be on the logo. And if he came on and said that, I would not call him a liar. That's one
Yeah, I
point.
think everyone. No,
Now,
obviously, I'm
yeah,
sure everyone probably feels that way.
all right,
Right.
so taking that into account, the passing of Kobe Bryant has now put the fuel to the fire, is what I'm saying for Kyrie, to where he's saying, I felt like this before, and now definitely a change has to be made. And this is
So
why.
isn't that what I just
I
said
don't see
though?
the
That
problem
I
with
said that
that.
it's convenient that when Kobe Bryant dies is when you want to speak up.
Yeah, because but when you're talking about convenient, like bro,
No, no, it's not fair to say
that's just not
convenient.
the
It's not
that's
fair to.
like
Okay, maybe
yeah, like
convenient is
what are
not
we
the right
talking
word,
about
but you
right
get what
now?
I'm trying to
Like
say
what do
though.
the Kobe's death was
I'm
convenient? Like this
okay.
is what I'm
Relax.
saying.
That's
I
not
don't
what I'm
understand
saying. I'm
Nah,
that.
saying
Chris,
the
stop,
event that
stop.
But that's
happened.
all I'm hearing. When you say convenient, that's all I
Then
hear,
you're
fam.
not reading through the lines. What I'm saying is
Like
the
what?
event. It just so happens that it's convenient for him that when the event happens, is now all of a sudden he wants to speak out about an issue. But if you always felt that way, you wouldn't have needed an event like that to happen to speak your mind. That's just how it
Yo, so
is.
I have a
Fam,
question, right?
you
I have
get
a question.
things happen in life where mans get motivated to make moves, fam.
Yeah, yeah, facts.
Kobe's death motivated Kyrie to make a move. Period.
And I'm
That's
not
it.
denying that. I'm
Point
not
blank.
denying
That's
that. But
done.
I'm saying if you're gonna do that, then do it in an isolated situation. Don't pack it onto a different issue.
Yo, I have a question for you guys, right? Say they do change the logo, Kobe Bryant or not, and they change it to a black man. Is the logo still not going to be white?
Ah,
Yeah, but we know the figure.
yeah. The figure is gonna
That's the
represent. You're gonna
point.
have the iconic Kobe
Okay,
figure, like
okay,
.
okay. Yo, for me personally, like I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't think there's any way they ever put him on the logo. Like, period. His there's no. I don't think they will because he doesn't have the unspotted past in terms of
But no one does.
okay, but there's mans that don't have certain allegations that were brought to them, is what I'm saying. Right? We can look to like what he has. What he has is I'm telling you guys, right? Mans can disagree with me or not, but I'm not talking about whether or not he should or shouldn't be. I'm talking about whether or not he will, and I don't think there's a chance they put him there because of what happened in
Yeah,
Colorado.
the whole the whole Gail King thing again, when she was out here
Right.
questioning the
And
man
yo,
after his death.
honestly, I don't blame. It's sad, but I don't blame the NBA for that because like they're opening themselves up to way too much questioning if doing so, and it's sad. I don't like. I think the NBA's done a great job of commemorating Kobe. I think they will continue to do that. I just don't think Kyrie aside, right? Kyrie aside, I don't think that this has to be the the grand final gesture to do it, and I don't think it will be personally.
I've never been the biggest Kobe. Like I'm a Kobe fan, but I haven't been the biggest of Kobe fans. So realistically, whether or not he gets the logo or not, it doesn't really do anything for me. But just to address like what you said, Kev, in the sense that his past, everyone's gonna have a past unless you a past, a sparkling resume in terms of what you are off the field or off the court, coupled with the talent that is required to make that change. LeBron James would be the only one. And I
But
wouldn't even say that LeBron James is deserving of being the
but
logo. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? So by that notion, it will never change.
nah, that's not what I'm saying because like, fam, it's just we know again we know that that specific type of allegation, fam. Like it's hard to ever come back from that, and the fact that like Kobe came back from that is crazy in itself. And shout out to him for that. But once you have that on your resume, like, does Jordan have something on his resume that's as bad as that?
Mm,
Gambling.
Probably just the
but
gambling.
Yeah, and
even
like
Yeah, that's it.
that's what I'm saying. Like that's not even as bad. So that's what I'm saying. Like it's hard for the NBA to sit down and say when you have all these sponsors, all these mans you have to answer to. You're supposed to be pro this, pro that, and they decide to put being on the logo. I just don't think it's gonna happen. I think it's unfortunate that it won't, but like it was. I don't think it's necessary to be honest with you. And like it sounds sad, but what happened? Like to me, I just look at it like what happens if another person passes away? Unfortunately, like what's the next thing we're gonna do? My The way I feel is if Mavs weren't thinking of putting him as the logo before, I don't think you should be thinking about it now. And Kyrie, and again, this is Kyrie aside, because Kyrie could have probably thought that Bean should have been the logo from 10 years ago. But again, I'm saying like if he wasn't supposed to be before, or you weren't thinking about it before, I don't think he should be now. I think there's other ways, better ways to commemorate him.
I don't know. Death brings along different feelings,
Definitely, no,
and
no,
when you lose a
definitely,
hero like
definitely.
yeah, like when you lose a hero like that, you're searching for a way to honor them in death, and which is why I'm okay with the conversation because Kobe Bryant is undeniably a top 10 player of all time, and his influence probably goes beyond me saying that. You know what
Facts,
I'm saying?
facts.
So, which is why I don't have a problem with him necessarily being the logo or not. What in ending, what I am going to say is I 110% agree with Kyrie Irving when he says a white man needs to be replaced off of the NBA's logo.
I agree with that too.
I
100%.
I agree
So
with that
if
too.
it's not going to be Kobe Bryant, I feel like Kobe Bryant is in the position due to his death, unfortunately, to be that member. But I also hear you. The allegations against him, they will definitely have mans from whatever group come up out of the woodworks saying that this is an atrocity and Ray Tate, whatever the case is. You're gonna get that. But whether it's Michael Jordan, whether it's Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, I don't know who that black man is. Change the logo.
No, I agree with that still.
I was just saying, in some, like, personally, I think MJ should be the logo before anybody because I don't think anybody's done more for the game than him. But aside from that, I agree with what Kyrie's trying to do. I'm just saying, if you're gonna respect Kobe and what happened and the tragedy, then talk about it in an isolate situation. Don't try to compare or don't try to group other things in. Just talk about it as is. If you want to talk about the white man being taken off the logo, then talk about that separately from Kobe. Because again, if you're trying to commemorate
I think,
somebody, you can't
Yeah,
package
but
it.
yo,
Rob Sam,
Chris.
in order to talk about one man coming off, you got to talk
No,
about
you
who's
don't.
going on.
No,
So
No, you
no.
it's a
don't.
two
No,
part
you
But yo,
don't.
here's the thing,
conversation.
right? Here's the thing, Chris. This is the way I see it, right? He could have said the first part, say, and then in another conversation talking about the same subject of changing the logo, you can mention that right. Aside from Kobe being as great as he was, the passing, the death, right? A black men built this league. They should be on the logo, right? I think there can be more thought put into the words you're saying as opposed to just saying Kobe Bryant's this, he's great in that. Black kids built the league, right?
Yeah, so
But I think you're
it's a
taking away from. I think in that one statement that you're making, you're taking away from the part that should be the most important. How great of a man he was, right? I think in another conversation, still talking about changing the logo, right? So you're still handling both of those things. You're still bringing them up. You can explain now why you're saying what you're saying with the race part. And they gave him a
all
chance
right.
to go up. They asked him again to clarify, and the man didn't clarify, right? And I'm not saying you have to, but if you're really trying to have people understand what you're saying across all the way around, because that's who you're talking to. You're not just talking to your people. You're talking to everybody. If you're trying to make a change and you have to speak to everybody and everybody, you know who is in charge of making that change. If you really want that change to happen, I'm not saying you got to dumb it down or you got to whiten it up. You just have to make them understand, and you have to do a better job of that. That's all I'm saying.
So no, so basically what you're saying is same conversation. You just wanted a period in the
No,
sentence and a
no,
new
man.
sentence to follow after. That's all I heard. Yo, Robs. That's all I heard from. I'm trying to understand. I don't know what Rob's talking. I'm trying to understand Kev. You saying in the same you saying in the conversation you wanted him to make one point and then later down the
No.
line pivot and add that in
Yo,
as
let me
well.
chime in. I
I'm
think I
saying,
think
no, hold on, Russ. I want two separate points. I don't want them to be in conjunction, is what I'm saying. To answer your question.
All right.
I think what
Okay.
the point is trying to make is by having those two in the same space, you're diluting the fact that Kobe Bryant should just be commemorated as a logo in an ice in by itself. And whether that's true or not is irrelevant in this point. But like he's not. It's the way he's going about it. But you don't need to be so belligerent in the way that you go about things, especially if it's supposed to be in a positive light, right? But who knows, man? Hopefully they'll review it. Adam Silver already kind of said that he was there's league discussions, whatever that means, but we'll see what happens in the next couple of weeks. I doubt it changes. Um, I doubt the logo ever changes, to be honest, but we'll see what happens in the
Oh
next
yeah,
couple of days.
yo, personally, I don't think it ever changes. Still, it's gonna cost them too much money. And again, I'm saying it should change, but I just don't think they're willing to spend all that money to change it.
Have you ever seen a sports team?
Here's the hoping it
Have you ever
changes
seen
still.
the like one of the four major sports change the logo like in recent history?
No,
I think it's all the same.
no.
Honestly, I wouldn't even know to be
Nah, I'm
honest.
thinking. I can't think of. Nah. That's what I'm saying. There's too much money involved, fam. Jerseys, arenas, like sponsorships, fam.
Memorabilia.
It's yeah. It costs. Yeah, like memorabilia that mans have trading cards from in the past. Like now, all of a sudden, you're gonna change the logo. Things like that. Like is why I think it's hard to change the logo, right? So it should change, right? I think as the game evolves, like Jerry West in the grand scheme of things wasn't really saying much. Like when you look back now today.
No, what does he have like two rings?
But
Like
but to be fair, right? He does have a storied career outside, like off the court as well. So he's not just his effect on the game didn't just end when he was on the court, but he still doesn't really match up to some of the mans that we mentioned in this podcast. So I hope it changes. I just, if I'm being realistic with you, I don't see a chance.
Facts. But that's all I had on today's dog. You guys have anything you want to say before we wrap up?
Again, bro, little baby. I've been going crazy with that score and call me Baby Harden. No.
hey yo, some men just need to stick to their day job. That's all it is, and it's perfectly fine, bro. But
Nothing's wrong with it.
you can't just go out there and wet the bed like that. Still, and now I see Chris Brown talking about, he has smoke. Like it'll be different if he was out there. They knew not to call him, so it looks like they have a little thing with this. You know what I'm saying? Like the night before All-Star game, maybe they can even incorporate it on the Friday night when they do like that legends and
Yeah. Two
things
on
where
two's kind of
that
whack
that
though. Add some more mans in that.
it is kind of whack, but at the same time, like at least you're watching like your favorite artists out there hooping. You know
I
what I'm saying?
wasn't
Like
watching my
it's
favorite
entertaining.
artist aside from
Well,
Baby.
Baby's one of my
Yeah,
favorite
nah. Aside
artists,
from Baby,
but
but
yeah,
like Two Chains, Jack Harlow, like Quavo as well. Still, we all fuck with Quavo, but
yeah. At least you're watching like the man's in the culture.
yeah, those
And
mans were bust.
granted, we always want to see like I would want to see Dirk go out there and hoop. You know what I'm saying? Like you always want to see these artists go out there
Yeah,
and do
facts.
whatever
But
they
don't go
do.
out there if you
So
can't hoop. That's all I'm saying, bro. Like you see, like
yeah,
we wouldn't want to see Tory Lanez out there. We already seen the videos. We
But
know
yo,
what
he
kind of
might have got
person.
a bag, yeah. Yo, baby
Huh?
said he'll
yo,
do
he's
anything
better
for the
than
bread, yeah.
no, but yo, he's definitely Tory Lanez is better than from what I've
But
seen.
we still don't
And
want.
granted, mans are only gonna come with their highlight tapes,
But the highlight
but
tapes look bad, fam. That's
the
what.
highlight tapes look bad. But no, when I Baby couldn't dribble with either hand,
Yeah,
that's
nah, I
the
know that's what I'm
issue.
saying. Obviously, but
You
that's
know
what
what
I'm
I'm
saying. That's
saying?
how
Like,
far off Baby was from this. I don't even want to see Tory up there, and I think we can say Tory's better.
Facts.
yeah, I hear that.
But let's wrap it up. No, I was just saying, I'm excited for the All Star game. That's pretty much it for me. I'm just see what's going on. And I wasn't too excited for the days leading up, but it's finally on here and nothing else is going on today. So might as well. There's no other basketball. So I'll tune in. But other than that, it's the Hardwood Report, man. Available on all streaming platforms, YouTube, TikTok, wherever it is, man. Make sure you download that, share it. Never hoard a good thing, man. We're trying to spread the content as much as possible. Hopefully in the next month and a half, we might have some things cooking up in the works. So you guys make sure you stay tuned. And let's get that engagement up, man. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, leave a good comment, bad comment, whatever it is. We need to make sure we raise that engagement so we can get the best possible product out there each and every single time. But other than that, we'll talk to you guys next time. Take care.